About 8 million student athletes across the country participate in organized high school athletics, okay? Of those 8 million, 6%, so 480,000 go on to compete at the NCAA level. So that already, in and of itself, to move on to the next level is a huge deal, okay? But what Sean is doing today is signing a national letter of intent. So with that, it is a binding agreement between Seton Hill University. Seton Hill is one of 657 Division I or Division II universities that have the opportunity to offer national letters of intent. It's a binding agreement between Seton Hill University and himself that they are going to work together for at least the next year. They're committing to give him an academic scholarship, and he is committed to go there and participate on the basketball team as part of that athletic scholarship, okay? 2% of student athletes that move on to the college level have the opportunity to sign a national letter of intent. So for basketball numbers, just to kind of give you those statistics, I'm an econ guy, I love numbers. Over 550,000 students play basketball at the high school level, and of that, only 11,000 of them are doing what Sean does today and signs a national letter of intent. So all of the hard work, and God knows there's been a lot of it. I'm here all the time. I feel like Sean's maybe here more than me, okay? Shooting in the morning, shooting late in the day, whenever that gym is open, whenever it's available to him, I know he takes advantage of it. And you know, I feel like I have a slight personal connection with Sean too. I had the opportunity to coach him in 8th grade lacrosse. So well before he even got here, you know, I could see what kind of a special athlete and hard worker he was and is. So there's been a lot that's gone into it. We're all super proud of you, and I know your parents are proud, and we can't wait to see what you do at the next level. We know that Seton Hill's getting a heck of a player. So congratulations, Sean. All right, before we sign, I'm going to turn it over to Coach Cattano to say a little bit more about your journey here.
I was actually getting a little emotional sitting there. I hope I can do this. I think I met Sean for the first time when I had him as a 7th grade student. He might have been at our basketball camp at one point before that. But he was in my 7th grade phys ed and health class. And the first thing I realized about Sean was he's quite a character, number one. Especially in health class. I actually wound up eating a lot of goldfish that year in health class because, you know, he'd be over there like, Sean, what are you eating? You're not supposed to be eating in class, I'm eating goldfish. All right, bring them up, you know. And I started eating, these are good, Sean, these are great, you know, like, oh, come eat my goldfish. Yeah, you're not supposed to have them. So, got to know him that way, and then I, you know, see him play, maybe PAL when he was in 7th grade and 8th grade. I'm like, all right, this kid's pretty good. And I think he was still in 7th grade when he tells me one time, somebody from Morristown Beard saw him playing a AAU tournament, came up to him after the game and said, you know, from Morristown Beard, you know, you're a pretty good player, that type of thing. Well, as soon as I heard that, I emailed my good friend, the head coach at Morristown Beard, and I said, tell your guys to stay away from our players. You know, he's a 7th grade kid. Stay away from him, leave him alone. And then I would kid him all the time about, you know, if he ever did something wrong, you know, just, all right, you can go to Morristown Beard, you can do that stuff, you know. Very glad he came here. As a freshman, we go to Albright every year in the summer. I've never taken a student that was going into their freshman year. It was actually Coach Pazdara. He said to me, are you taking Sean with you? And I go, no, I have never taken a freshman before. He goes, well, why don't you? He goes, do you think you can play at that level, at the high school level? And I said to Coach Pazdara, I said, well, what do you think? Do you think you can play at that level? He said, absolutely. I said, okay, we'll find out. So I asked him, comes to Albright with us, showed me a little spunk one time, playing a game, and we weren't doing well. It was right at the end, and one of their players is holding the ball at the end, you know, just last couple seconds, and Sean goes up and he tries to like grab it from him, and the guy goes like this, like he's gonna hit him, and our kids all jump in, and nothing happened, and we're walking up to lunch or dinner. Remember that? Yeah. Lunch or dinner after that, and he's walking with me, and he's crying because he's upset. He's upset about like what happened, the whole thing, and I'm going, you're gonna be all right, you're gonna be all right. And he actually sat with me the whole time. He didn't sit with the team, he sat with me. He wouldn't eat anything. sat with me the whole game, whole dinner, and then we go play a little later on, an hour or two later, and he has probably one of the best games, you know, that he had the whole weekend. And I said, this kid really does have something. So with that, he winds up being the only player that I've ever had start as a freshman from day one. Great career, freshman year, sophomore year, junior year. We all know what happened last year, and you certainly can't win a state championship unless you have an outstanding point guard. You have to have a great point guard. We don't win the American history game without a great point guard. They put like 4 or 5 different guys on them. If you saw us against Union, when we played Union on Sunday, we don't stay in that game unless we have a really good point guard, a great point guard. And that's what he has become. And a great player, a great passer, great defender, and he's actually grown into a very, very fine young man. When we started with the recruiting, one of the schools I was very interested in was Stonehill College. And one of their former players was one of their assistant coaches, who was very much like Sean, 5'9", 5'10" point guard. And when we first started talking, you know, I said, is there any thoughts about his size? He goes, Coach, you know me, size doesn't mean a thing. I said, well, it doesn't mean a thing to me either. You know, it doesn't. He's a heck of a player, whether he's 5'9", 6'4", whatever it is. And as it turned out, things didn't work out there. And then one day I get a phone call, and I thought the coach said, Coach Saunders, Seton Hall University. And I went, Seton Hall University? Holy cow, man, we're calling about your point guard, Sean Dillon. I go, oh man, this is pretty good, you know? And he goes, no, Seton Hill University. And I go, oh, Seton Hill, where's that? Pennsylvania, Division II. You know, we really love your kid. We want to have him come out here, the whole thing. And so now there's a lot of confusion on my part because it was between Stonehill, Seton Hall, Seton Hill. I didn't know where he was going. But, you know, things wound up working out there. They wound up going out there to visit. After they visited, I get a phone call from the coach, and he says to me, you know, we really like him. I talked to Sean, I talked to his parents. They really liked the school, and Sean really liked the school, liked the coach, you know, the way he was as a person. And he said to me, he said, I'll tell you one thing that really impressed me more than anything. He said, we were up above I guess they got a track going around the arena. And he goes, yeah, we're up above the track. We were watching his mother and I, and we started walking away, and all of a sudden Sean leaves us, and he goes, and he went and got his mother's purse. His mother has left his purse there, and he went and got it, and he brought it over to his mother. He said, if there's anything that impressed me about this kid, it was that. Now, that impresses me. I don't know if it impresses a lot of other people, but it seems to be this guy thinks a lot the way I do. And that was something that really, really impressed them, that he just didn't say, hey, Mom, your purse is over there. Why don't you go get it? You know, it was one of those things that kind of sold their coach on him, not just as a player, but as a person as well. And I can only say that they're getting a great player and a great person. I've been in the gym more than Coach Carangelo, and a lot of times, you know, I get there 6:30 in the morning, and I hear the ball bounce, and he's there. And one time I was walking around the track about 5:30 in the morning. I get my walk-in out there before I go to school, and I hear the ball bouncing by the pool, and it's him at 5:30 in the morning. But there's nobody that's worked hard. Nobody that I've coached that has ever worked harder than he has to become what he is as a basketball player. And as I've said, the way he's grown and matured to be a fine young man. You see a lot of that this year, what he's doing. You know, we're not having a lot of success in terms of wins and losses, if you want to look at things that way. But he's still going out there every day. He's a great teammate. His teammates love him. There's a lot of people that came back here to, you know, just to see this. And I think it just says a lot of him as a person as well. And just want to wish him the best of luck. And he's going to have a great future. And he knows that I'm still going to always be there to support him. Hopefully go out to the Pittsburgh area for a few games in the future. Congratulations.